Welcome everybody here to the top 5 plays of the week from Esports U, Clutch Key, helping to bring you those top plays, so let's get things started. In Valorant, it's the Loyola Maryland Greyhounds taking on the Army West Point Black Knights, taken to map number 1 on Icebox, and the Greyhounds winning the pistol round, so it's looking good for them to go up 10-4, but with the Marshal, it's MIB Police from the Black Knights on the case.
At the same time, but that opportunity won't be afforded. D-Sung, though, could turn this into a rifle, potentially more. MIB Police from the Raptors doing work with the Marshal and might even present a greater threat. Jumping down with the classic, turn into a right-click hero. A Marshal in hand, and MIB Police secures a force round be damned.
A heroic play from MIB Police, but it would be the Black Knights taking Icebox and winning the series 2-0. Let's go to Rocket League with the St. Lawrence Saints and the Bengals of Buffalo State. Down by 1 in game number 3, and the Bengals are looking for that equalizer in the final minute of the game. Luckily, Jesco decides that, yeah, overtime is probably a good thing going into the last minute.
It's hard in order to even think about getting an insurance goal here.
Oh boy, it does feel like SLU as well, just trying to play survival mode. No, maybe they're thriving instead. A good bouncer from Elmo Fingers does get past one defender. Turks moving this across the width of the field. The pinch, finding the midfield here. Good catch from Jesco, putting a shot on target as well. Jesco!
Overtime, it would go in game number 3, and actually the Saints would win overtime, but as for the series, it would be all Buffalo State taking the dub 4-1. Overwatch 2 action with the Great Danes of Albany and the Spartans of UNC Greensboro. Third map on Havana, and the Great Danes want to cap first point in just under a minute. But Magix has a trick up their sleeve, and in fact, they might have more than one.
Out of here, they want to get that kill, and they're doing it. Jesse, they are doing it. Now Magix is back on the field. Lobs Nick's head, oh my god. Showing Volks in the business end of that too. The payload is still being contested, and it's all, oh my.
Not only is Magix One a sniper, but the Spartans had a one of their own in the form of a broom, as the Spartans would go on to win the series 3-0. To League of Legends, where the Polar Bears of Ohio Northern take on the Dukes of James Madison. 12th minute in game number 2, and the Polar Bears want their second dragon. On the Kiana, though, Shomi is about to show us what robbery on the Rift looks like.
Great rotation onto this. They got the first dragon. They are likely to pick up the second here, and the Shomi can somehow make this work.
Well, they're trying, and over the wall, they got a ward and said snipe. And the steal! The steal from Show Me said you only...
Dragon stolen, and even with the kill lead, the Polar Bears also got that stolen away. In the end, Dukes would come out with the dub 2-0. Let's head to Overwatch 2 action with the Aggies of Utah State taking on the Rams of Colorado State. Down a map on Nepal, and the Rams need to make some sort of comeback to force map 3. Well, a crazy team fight leads up to why Death Trap lives up to the tag.
You're going to be in a great position. And this Dragon Strike might be able to create some separation. But Cass is just taking heads.
Cass rolls the head of the finish right now. There's the Terror Search. Is he going to find anything is the question. Immortality View happened to be used. This Death Trap finds a triple. Oh my goodness. Death Trap finds a fourth. He's going to find the team kill. It's now the Rams would force map number 3, but the Aggies were too strong for the rest of the contest, and the Utah State Aggies get the sweep 3-0. To Summoner's Rift in League, where the Aztecs of San Diego State take on the Spartans of San Jose State. Game 1, and all the advantages to the Aztecs 30 minutes in, and Devour on the Caitlyn makes sure it stays that way to march to the base.
Half health. Actually, Storm dropped as well. That might be the go button as everyone follows the rock, and it's not going to be enough off the outset. Tom Goku shut down in the back line.
We're at the Collegiate Esports Commissioners Cup. Let's make some noise.
Oh, and it's going to be...
This corner judge is good for 1, 2, yeah. He needs more.
They're doing even more here. You gotta touch the point. Mr. Collins walks it in. Joy Blank is going to drop.
Knife him.
Right out in front.
Yeah, 3, 2, 1, running.
Hello and welcome to another evening of Valorant here, Collegiate Valorant with
Adam and Vincent, of course. We've got Pace Valorant versus USF Valorant. Both of these, the gold teams. One of them is the gold 1 team for some reason, and they have a gold 2 team. Not really sure why all these teams just pick the same colors, but nonetheless, of course, happy to be here with you, Vincent. How are you doing on this evening?
You know what? I mentioned it in the green room, but I'm going to mention it here. My taxes are done, so I'm like feeling good. I'm feeling great. It's beautiful. Truly a weight off my shoulders, and I'm ready to cast some Valorant, my friend.
Yeah, for sure. And, with taxes off of your shoulders, and for some of these players, exams potentially going on their shoulders in a little bit, they're making that last push, especially through the playoffs here into the quarterfinals here. Of course, at the end of this bracket is a ticket to Texas. All of these teams looking to try and secure themselves up for that. But nonetheless, looking at our 2 teams today, Pace versus USF. Once again, both of them the gold team for some reason. We really need to talk to these collegiate teams about color choices and all that. But definitely an interesting matchup on the horizon here.
Yeah, I think that it's interesting for a couple of reasons. The first of which is that these 2 teams, they've yet to play each other. We looked back and didn't play this season, didn't play last season. So a new matchup that we've yet to see before here at Esports U. And then second to that as well is that, well, USF, an undefeated team, going up against Pace, who, yeah, they did have a loss, but they've been looking good, and they continue to look good as we head into things. I want to talk more about it, but I think that conversation needs to wait for just a moment because we got to talk about where we're headed. That's, I think, going to be defining for this. It's a bit of a collegiate classic, if you will. Haven and Ascent, you can't get away from it, but I'm a big Haven fan regardless, and Ascent, our second map. USF bringing us to Haven, Pace have elected to bring us to Ascent, and split our decider should it be necessary, which actually, I don't know if you've noticed the same thing, but a lot of collegiate teams have been picking up a bit of split, which I love to see.
Yeah, it's sort of become this neo-classic, I want to say, in collegiate. We lost the bind for a little bit. We got split back, and everyone's like, okay, yeah, we're going to get some new maps. And then these teams are like, nope, we're going to go Ascent Haven. We're going to pick split up again as well. And, with Icebox going away and bind coming back in the next act as well, we'll have 2 different collegiate specials. We'll have the new collegiate special and the old collegiate special, even though they're both sort of the same level of collegiate special. Really interesting to see this come through, though, because as you can see, just neither of these teams really want to play on some of these more beveled maps that can really tilt to one side or the other. And while Haven, traditionally attacker-sided, split, traditionally defensive-sided, especially in collegiate Valorant, you can never really tell with some of these teams how sided these maps are, because sometimes you just come out on split and you find 9 rounds on attack, and all of a sudden it's the most attacker-sided map you've ever seen.
It's true. I think that realistically in the collegiate space, we can, look at the general numbers and everything, but it is very much based on the team that's playing, what they're comfortable on. And I usually take that to the extreme as well when it comes to agent selections. I want to see what you're comfortable on. I will also do some criticizing a little bit if it doesn't make sense to me, but the reality is you have to be comfortable, and a comfortable team is a team that can win. So I don't know what we're going to see on that. We'll wait just a moment. But one thing I am very glad about, by the way, I'm just going to inject it in here. Thank God Icebox is gone. I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled that we will not be seeing that for much longer.
Yeah, Icebox has given us a lot of classics. Especially if you look at Lock-In, you don't get that Fnatic comeback if it isn't for Icebox just being the map that it is. And there have been some really strong collegiate matches on that as well. But of course, Icebox, one of those polarizing maps, in the same way that Breeze was one of those polarizing maps in a lot of ways as well. I'm sure that after Icebox takes its time out for a little bit, everyone's going to be calling for Fracture. Everyone's going to be calling for Pearl once again, because, those are the next ones on the chopping block. Interesting that they didn't announce Breeze. Anything changing with that one? Maybe they looked at it and said, I don't know how much we can actually fix about this one. But nonetheless, we'll have to see how that all plays out when those maps come back into the pool, if those maps come back into the pool as well. But overall, these 2 teams getting ready to get into it as well. And of course, as you mentioned, USF having a very strong season thus far. They do have a sister team on the opposite side of the bracket that's doing quite well as well. Could be a little bit interesting if they do end up meeting each other, of course, but just speaks to how strong USF's esports program has grown in the past couple of years as well.
Yeah, I'm glad that you mentioned that, because I wanted to go down that same little rabbit hole because of the fact that, having one team that's good is, it's impressive. I'm not knocking anybody, but having 2 teams that is at that same level, that's able to step up and be in a quarterfinal matchup in a collegiate league, that's impressive. And you only really see the best of the best kind of having that that staying power. I mean, at the very highest level, like Fisher's the only one really that it's kind of in that conversation. You could argue like TMU used to be in that, but they've kind of fallen off a little bit as of this semester. But regardless, I think that's really impressive, and we shouldn't run past that without taking a moment to say, wow, hey, great job. And well, USF making those moves, you would have to imagine that they're the favorites in this game. Obviously, you and I haven't gotten the chance to see them yet, but just based on the win-loss record and the fact you have that depth, surely they are the ones that we would put out as the front runners at the very least.
Yeah, and I think especially when it comes to some of these schools that are coming through with academy teams now and the like, I think of St. Clair back in my backyard, basically, where they've got a really strong academy team as well. They like to scrim each other from time to time. You're not giving away any strategies. All of the strategies are staying within. So you can really start to develop some new strategies within your own team that can be applied to both of those teams. Bring a new flair to your gameplay come game time for either one of those teams. But of course, into Agent Select we go here. And of course, with Haven, the meta rather defined. Sometimes there's a little bit of variance there. I look at that Fade as potentially something that could provide a little bit of variance. But most of the hovers thus far, it's the classic. We know exactly what to expect, and the only difference there is Siddiq taking the Sova, Chumis taking the Fade.
Yeah, actually want to dive a little deeper on that Fade storyline just for a moment, because, I was in that same boat as what you just said. A little bit of variance sometimes comes out. You see the Fade occasionally, but that's actually not true anymore, really, at the highest level. I looked at the stats for just challengers in A. Now, specifically was looking at NA, just to be clear. Fade, same pick rate on Haven as a Viper. Ooh. That kind of puts it into perspective, doesn't it? Like, how much we've seen the move away from Fade and how swift that's been on this map.
And I think a major reason behind that was because of Fade's recent nerfs, in a sense. Not really recent at this point. It's been a couple of patches, but, her Nightfall being now 8-point ultimate, a lot of her kit just doesn't give the same level of pop that I think she did on her release. And while she is still a very strong agent, and I think that, if Chumis is comfortable on that agent, it still doesn't provide as much as Sova in the sense that your post plant is so much weaker. And I think that is what is kind of important on a map like Haven, where a lot of your sites, they are very open. B site is just, line up city in that sense. Have it open here. Very quick progression towards the site. You can see DKY already moving all the way in onto Revengeance there. You can just see how much control they have over the C site already. The rotation's very slow on the opposite side.
Indeed, and Rodan in this position is so powerful. Just having inroads into Garage and delaying any sort of retake from that area is huge. And oh my goodness, look at this push. There's 3 players in Spawn.
Oh my goodness, Siddiq gonna get a couple of them there. TKY just sort of holding the line behind. It's 2v2 now, all of a sudden. Seems as if Pace are able to find a little bit of recuperation here, but Rodan finds one there. TKY finds the 3K to open us up here, and that USF, really strong start. Got a little bit sketchy there in the middle, but nonetheless, they're able to recuperate, find themselves a nice round win.
Yeah, got a little dicey there in the mid-round. I mean, Siddiq did a great job of finding both of those kills. But either way, Pace falling by the wayside. The one thing that I noted as well, though, is how important and how aggressive Pace were as soon as they found the information that players were pushed up into spawn. They just made the decision to be aggressive there. And really, how are you going to expect a 3rd player in spawn? You just don't. Not on a pistol round. Not ever, really.
Yeah, sometimes those pistol rounds can get a little bit sketchy in terms of the strategies. It feels like always one of those coin flip things where you can practice pistols all you want, but at the end of the day, how much will it really matter when you don't know what your opponents are cooking up? But again, C-Site seems to be that target. They find the push forward, but this time around, no entry frags picked up. I lied about that one, right? Able to find Kiwi on the opposite side. Pace down a member already, and on this sort of anti-eco coming through, these classics, they're going to have to find a little bit more of a punch than that. Rodan able to find a couple of their own. It is all down to Zin. Chumis with that Stinger. Nerf Stinger going to find the flawless round, and USF, they execute as expected on this anti-eco.
We just take a moment to just be sad for the Stinger nerfs. Was the second best sniper in the game? And then it got nerfed to hell. Feels bad, man. Anyway, now that we've had a moment to cry all of our tears for the Stinger, not even that recent to be fair, but I'm just still crying. Here's the bonus round coming up for USF. They've got a pretty decent bonus, I'd say. Yeah, it's a lot of SMGs, but that just means if they can close the distance and put this into a post-plant situation, it's going to be all that more effective. Speaking of post-plants, there ain't nobody on the site. So it is going to be an insta-post-plant called as Pace will do more stating. We really haven't seen much of anything but the C hit.
Yeah, and I mean, Rodan already going to be at that lockdown so early on into this. Just makes C-Site so difficult to penetrate as well. This is just 12 seconds where everyone just has to back out. They're not in position to really contest this lockdown. Nice little overlay changes there, by the way. Recent patch just came out.
Yeah,
nice
today.
Little change. It looks nice. I like it. It's more clarity and everything, a little bit more consistent. But now here comes that retake, and with 12 seconds sort of taken away from your timers in a lot of ways, it's going to be very challenging to try and push forward onto the site, right? Able to get into that smoke, will get taken down in a trade, but time is ticking once again. Rodan going to find another one, but here comes the push coming down from Pace. They're looking to try and find some space here. Norm going to try and stick that defuse, but through the smoke, Chumis able to find a couple more. Blazer finds another one. Should be able to collect up another rifle for the side of USF. And a fantastic bonus to come through. They hold 2 rifles. The rest of their team can buy up now. That economy is starting to really start to pop for them.
Yeah, and that's the sort of first look at best case scenario for USF in this game. Like, if you're able to win a bonus round like that, you're looking very good. I love the posturing, I guess is what you would call it, from USF in the positioning that they had. They knew that if they just played post-plant standard, they weren't going to win. So they put 3 players of the 5 that they had on the post-plant aggressive to take space and just get a trade. It doesn't matter to get that second kill. It's just 1 for 1 and to stall things out. And that was so effective. Made the difference, really. And Pace still scoreless here going into round number 4.
Yeah, and it's scoreless with an extra asterisk in that they got flawless on the anti-eco. They weren't really able to cheese anyone out there. And then, of course, on their buy round, it was that one Vandal that came down from the Killjoy that really made the difference in a lot of ways. Norm trying to find a shot with that Marshall, but TKY holding this angle down, finds another one through the wall. Graffiti sprayed with the blood of the enemies there, and TKY now going up into heaven. This is a tough angle. They might not have heard that updraft, and now it's just a massacre here by A-Side. TKY looking for that, had them lined up. Kiwi able to find the head, but nonetheless, multiple members here. Rodan gonna find another one. Finishes out that full house as USF 4 rounds in a row. They look rather unstoppable thus far, only dropping 1 member.
Indeed, and you know, Pace, I gotta say, those anti-ecos that we've seen, now 2 of them, they haven't been the best. They've left me wanting, at the very least. Of course, it can be very difficult to find that value against the full gun rounds. I understand that. But you need to keep this economy of USF in check, and that's not happened. Look, there's 6,000 plus creds on 3 out of 5 players, and sure, TKY and I think one of their play forced to rebuy once or twice, and so they're a little less perfect in that space, but still, it's very good.
Yeah, and I mean, look at how quick this execute is. Yes, Sin is able to find the kill on the TKY, but they're just willing to play so fast. You've got all this time in a round, and yet you want to plant within the first 15 seconds. You want to put them on a timer. But I'm going to be able to pick up that spike and just turn tail. They don't want anything to do with this anymore. A bunch of smokes there. They want none of that smoke. They're leaving for another day here. Nonetheless, Chumis finding a nice little angle there onto Revengeance. See USF down a member, but still pushing forward very confidently. They know they've still got that economic advantage, but Siddiq going to be able to turn that back around onto right. 4v2 situation. First time USF hasn't been able to find that plant in the first 30 seconds. Doesn't even seem like that's going to be the case. Rodan, though, we'll move over to A site. Should be able to get a plant down, but 4v1 going to have to make a miracle happen.
Yeah, and of course, that early lockdown usage, there hasn't been time to farm up another one. Not that that would be a win con with, I mean, with Sova having the Hunter's Fury as well, but nonetheless, it's just another little bit of utility that's not available. Left. And I like this decision from Rodan. Taking the fights instead of just going for the plant, it creates a lot of question marks in the minds of Pace. Of course, they do have Zen watching. And so that allows Rodan to realize how much space that they have into this and what they can do around this. So, a good idea. We'll see if it's going to be enough for players to retake.
Yeah, I mean, they just got to double up, play buddy system a little bit here, but Rodan fights 2 headshots. Are you kidding me? And now a 1v2 is extremely winnable. They have that lockdown, as you mentioned. Not sure if they're going to opt to use that, especially with that Sova ultimate available. Dark going to actually spot out where Rodan is as well. They're going to have to play a little bit of ring around the rosy on this one. Swinging out, finds a 3rd kill for themselves. All of a sudden, Rodan looking to secure out this round. Seneca has taken a couple of shots. Rodan is still full HP. Spike, of course, behind this box, but nonetheless, Rodan is doing anything but throwing. He's vaulting the side of USF to a clutch win. 1v4, what the heck just happened?
Well, I mean, to be honest with you, that first double kill, that was all Rodan every single time. That's outrageous. You gotta say some blame there to Pace for lining up like that, but it's hard to anticipate. I'm blown away by that initial play, but then Pace have got to figure out a way to play trades a little bit better. They lose a 1v4 there, and anytime a 1v4 happens, props to the player who's 1v4ing, getting that win, but it is significantly the fault of the opposing team for letting them have that option in most cases. So, and this is one of them. Just in position where they couldn't find trades, and great timings there for Rodan to pop out and catch them off guard. Pace with the timeout makes a lot of sense. They need to just maybe calm down a little bit, maybe a little bit of nerves. Don't know what the problem is, but what I do know is that they look a little bit jumpy.
They do. And one of the major things that I noticed out of that last round as well was everyone bought light shields. They opted to go for a little bit more of an economical buy. It will afford them, maybe an extra buy or two over the course of the entire game here. And, they've full bought last round, quote unquote. Now they're full buying again, quote unquote, I say, with the light shields as that sort of caveat in that situation. But look at the economy on that other side. Yes, there's a little bit of money getting divvied around to make sure that they have enough to full buy once again and keep that economy above 4,000 or 5,000 on every member. But nonetheless, they've got such an advantage at this point. 5 rounds in a row. Not only do you have that momentum, but you've got a lead here. Yes, this is traditionally seen as an attacker-sided map. But this heavy of an attacker-sided map for maybe USF just coming out with a little bit more pop in their game. Nonetheless, back to their old tricks. 20 seconds into the round here. Spike's already planted.
I think that, if Pace were to bring this back, pretty much win all the rest of the rounds, then, yeah, it's not really a big deal, but I don't know that that's going to be happening. Here's the retake. Blades already got one.
Oh, the timing. They didn't check the corner. Are you kidding me? TKY is just sitting here. Norm gonna be that last one in. Still just holding it this entire time. Gonna stand right next to them. There's 1, there's 2. Count them up. There's 3, and there is 4 picked up for TKY. Check your corners, ladies and gentlemen, please, because Pace. Oh, no words at that point. Someone had to have checked that, right?
No, the first person had to check that. It's not on anyone else but the first and second person there, to be honest with you.
Oh, man.
Listen, love you, TKY. I'm only slightly mad that you baited your whole team to get that, but you did pull it off, so can't be that bad. That was an incredible, just 4 kills in a row. Absolutely ludicrous, and I think right there we're seeing the confidence momentum that USF currently have.
Oh, there's one way to take a little bit of momentum out of TKY. They peek, they get punished for it. Blazer, though, already onto the site. Just a deep angle, even through their own breaches aftershock. A little bit of friendly fire going on there, but nonetheless, onto site they march. And once again, a very quick plant. Rodan, though, is just such a bulwark for this side of USF, doing so much work. Good for 2 almost every single round. Rodan baiting this one out as well, as unfortunately Revengeance. Oh my god, this is brutal. They're just absolutely baiting this out. Oh, they ran out of ammo though. Can't play too many games with that one. Nonetheless, USF still with control of this site. There's a couple of ultimates available if they opt to go for this, but of course, when their numbers aren't in their favor, it doesn't seem like there's going to be much of an angle to do so. Blazer holding down this deep site corner. Acidic just in a world of hurt, getting decayed up as well. Gets 1. Not going to be able to find another one as Blazer secures the round. USF, though, I was getting a little bit dicey there. You can see less than 50 HP combined throughout those 2 members.
By the way, the opening pick right there from Norm was technically a collab. It legged the fade as well. Chumas was 50 HP from the start. So, props to Norm. It's too bad that opening pick didn't end up for victory for Pace, but, they're going to need some of that continuing on. they haven't been able to find those opening picks, and Norm delivering one, that's good for the confidence, but at this point, confidence isn't really key. Rounds win games. That's the key. You got to be able to win some rounds.
Yeah, and TKY has all the confidence in the world, as well as some round wins for themselves effectively. A little bit of a cheeky 4K that last time, but Norm finds a couple. Revengeance going to find it as well with a 2K. Now all of a sudden, USF, they're going to have to depend on Rodan once again to come 1v4. Granted, we've seen it once. What's to say we aren't going to see it again, Vincent?
True story. I mean, it feels like Rodan and generally USF, they are teeming with confidence. There's just nothing that can stop them the moment. And really, I think that was a bit of their undoing in this round, in that they got a little overconfident, but sometimes that's the way it goes. You gotta just essentially ask the opposition, hey, punish us or we're gonna just W key. And that's what we saw there. The fake flash.
There's a fake flash there, finds 2 kills once again, but the wallbang started to come down. Kiwi and Zin sort of stacked up here. Rodan not sure which way to look. Zin gonna be able to find that headshot. It's a thrifty round win for the first round win of this half here for Pace, but hey, they'll take that every single day of the week. At the very least, they come around, get away with one here. Granted, the economy on the opposite side still very, very strong for the side of USF. They've got another couple buys in them.
Side note, by the way, on Rodan, was actually really smart. Dodging the flash, but the paranoia came through. So that's why he was looking to the right there, instead of just, you know, taking the fight head on and trying to get close. Didn't know that the paranoia was coming out, but heard the audio cue from the flashpoint, and that was what caused the turn. Everything that I'm seeing from Rodan is just super high-level play right now. It's great to see. As, well, Pace, they've had all these ultimates for a while, and they haven't had a really good chance to use them. This is now, hopefully, the time that they'll do that.
Yeah, granted, the only person who's going to get hit with that breach ult from the side of USF is TKY. If you march onto site once again, it's an early spike plant, and thus far, their post plant has been fantastic. It's a great lockdown as well. There is the Hunter's Fury if they do want to cancel that out, but they're saving it once again, just opting not to take the fight. They will actually take it out, I believe. And now, here comes the Killjoy lockdown the opposite way. They're just going to be burning everything on this play. They want to try and get this round. Get a little bit of momentum going their way, but the Judge from TKY able to find one. TKY finds a tiny little pocket of air there, and I don't think they would have checked it from heaven. TKY going to find one. Zin looking the wrong way. TKY finds a 3rd kill for themselves, and now 2v2 situation. What can TKY do? Are they going to be allowed to cook here? Chasing down the kills here. Norm and Siddiq, though, going to be able to secure that round up.
No.
Will they be able to get the spike? No, they won't. So I thought for a second they were going to be able to do it, but pulled off the spike at the last second. And Pace, the heartbreaking loss there.
Let's talk about TKY for a moment, because was the hero of that round. An incredible performance as well. Gets up close and personal with that Judge. It's a gamble every time you go up into heaven as a Jet, to be honest. But just hasn't done it all game, pulls it out at the right time, catches off the player heaven off guard to get the upgrade, but then being able to dodge out on that lockdown. The other 2 players were detained. They had no way to win that round if TKY gets detained as well. Instead, TKY stays up. Phantom, good for 2 more.
Just finds it the smallest pocket, and now Zin under so much pressure here. The gunfire is going. TKY is off. What are you doing, buddy? The back of sight already. He's just a menace.
Truly menace behavior right here. This is solely a confidence play. There's no reason to do this, Adam.
Oh my goodness, and TKY finds one already. Looking for another one, finds it. Revengeance goes down to that second op shot. Siddiq able to reply in kind with that Ares. My goodness, the confidence is teeming out of TKY right now, finding absolutely everything they need. Right is able to find another one there. All these smokes, it might be a potential for a little bit of a ninja play, but nonetheless, they still haven't cleared outside. Time is running thin. Rodan once again able to find the shots, and Norm is just turning tail and leaving with the tailwind. Absolutely nothing you can do there. 4v1 situation. You're just going to try and save the op if you can. And Pace, unlike their name, are not able to keep pace with USF's breakneck pace, and the opping Jet on the backside of B site on attack. What the heck is going on with that?
Yeah, I'm glad that this happened, because it allows me to talk a little bit about something I saw earlier but didn't get to mention, and that's that one round that USF, it looked bad where Rodan had the 1v4, right? They went to B really early, and B early is kind of a death trap. Like, you should just never hit B early in Haven, almost at all. But definitely not on a gun round where there's utility to deny you. They did, and they got rolled on it. The only way that works is if you have a guy named TKY doing whatever the hell that was. Like, just dashing in crazy.
Out-of-pocket activities, one could say. TKY once again going deep in onto site. The knives are true. The knives get two. Siddiq and Wright gonna trade back and forth. But once again, I've been saying this so often, first 20 seconds of the round. Vincent, you can say it for me this time.
Dude, they got the spike down. It's 20 seconds.
That's 20 seconds. He got all this time. Rodan, though, living up to his name a little bit more there. Giving a little bit of a throw over, giving Pace a little bit of a chance back into this one. Zen trying to clear out Garage. But once again, this light shield strategy, the main caveat behind it is that they need it to be able to survive some of these shots, right? Just able to aim at the legs, land it, find a kill for themselves. Kiwi now gets shut down as well. Right? Did something there. Was able to find a 3K with that off once again. USF get to double digits.
I'm not even gonna lie. For me, the problem here isn't the half shields. Like, it's fair what you're talking about. Like, that's totally valid. But, like, the problem isn't that they're not staying alive. It's that they're not able to hit the shots. They're blinded. They're stunned. They're detained. Whatever it is, and they're getting outbrained on the middle point as well. It's these shots that have connected consistently, where TKY is just running into the back of sights with blades or the op or whatever the hell he has, and it's working. That's the main issue. And yeah, an extra bit of shielding would be nice, but I don't even know if that would help at this given point.
I mean, you can see Rodan's throwing, mollies on his own team at this point. This is how confident I want to say they are with this, right? Siddiq going to trade out once again. 2 rounds of the same opener in a sense there, but TKY just moving forward with the shorty in the smoke. No fear in the world. The Odin from Blazer is firing down Siddiq. That's a couple, but look at this. The off peeking like that finally gets punished for that as Revengeance takes him down. Great dart going to come through to spot out where the last members are. Jumis sort of taking their time, peeking all these angles incredibly quickly. 2v2, 1v2 now as Rodan with the spike. Gone. Has been gone for multiple seconds at this point and going over to C-site.
Just on a run. Having a sprint right now. Yeah. And look at how careful USF Pace are being. They could have just from the shadows over to C just to confirm. Instead, they're walking guns out, terrified that Rodan is just close on some sort of flank. Unfortunately, the timing not going to be so good. It'll be Revengeance to take the shot in a second round. The only round other than that one they already have that Pace will have for this half. 2-10 is the final scoreline. A terrifying attacker prospect.
Yeah, it's ridiculous how well USF played that attacking half there. The 2 rounds they got, one was on a thrifty, one was on a little bit too much fun coming through from USF. It felt like, Rodan could have pushed with the team there, could have found some shots, just opted, hey, I'm leaving. You're on your own there, Chivas there. Nonetheless, it has still been incredible stuff coming through from USF to be able to push forward that hard. And a lot of this has been individual performances from Rodan and TKY. Both of them have been able to sort of come alive with some of these 4K situations. At the same time, though, Pace just haven't really been able to play as a team, peek off of each other, get all the trades that are necessary. We see them close or when they are able to effectively trade out.
I'm glad you mentioned trades, because that is the #1 problem for Pace right this moment, is that they're untradeable in a lot of these situations. I guess you don't need trades, you just hit headshots. Revengeance gonna get a shot on. Okay, well, it was good for a moment. Just a sec.
Yeah, we can give them a little bit of credit for that one. Norm's still going to get that plant down, and once again, incredibly early, Zin with the long-range frenzy. He says, hey, this gun's quite good nonetheless, but TKY and Wright going to make things right in this round. TKY going for the knife kill at this point. My goodness, TKY just styling on him as Wright cleans that one up, just moving forward with the knife. I'm just going to pick up whatever skins they want, whatever guns they want. But USF, get to 11 here. This surely is going to force out of the side of Pace here. They need to win the round here because they are in dire straits. You lose this round, you're going to be best case scenario overtime, and that's a grim prospect.
It certainly is. And TKY doing what we in the profession call a little bit of trolling at the moment. Just having some fun. You know, listen, I am at times the fun police, I'll be honest. But I'm so down for this fun. I'm here for it. I'm enjoying myself, as USF clearly are. Pace, on the other hand, yeah, you're absolutely right with regard to they gotta win rounds. Like, at this point, it doesn't matter how, doesn't matter the way it goes, just get the round win. I don't care what sort of cheese I gotta pull.
Yeah, if it means that you have to full rush with, you know, stingers or whatever, then do it. Just try and push forward nonetheless. Seems like they're opting for the longer range approach with some of these sheriffs. Got a couple of full shields on them as well. But nonetheless, even still, USF are just winning these aim duels time and time again with whatever guns you give them. It could even be the knife that wins some of those aim duels. Zin, though, pushing it out, has sort of the strong weapon here with the Bulldog.
Is this the first that we're going to get past the 1 minute mark without the spike down?
There was a couple where Rodan had to, you know, clutch it up or something, but it's the
Outside
first
of those,
time.
though.
Yeah, outside of those rounds, you know, this is the first time that teams are playing a little bit slower. They want to play more calculated, and in some ways, Shocked Penguins, they're having a blast out there. They're just they're trading guns. You know what? Might as well trade some guns out. Oh god, Blazer! That's not a good angle to be on as Revengeance, sorry, able to find a couple of kills there, but the trades back and forth. The Util able to pick one up as well, and all of a sudden time is ticking. 30 seconds left to try and finish off this B-side execute. Right's gonna have to make it right in this situation, and that spike is still down. He's looking the wrong way though. Revengeance able to convert on the Force. A third round for the side of Pace. Won't get the extra 300 credits though. And at this point, I can understand why they went for it. You got to make every credit matter. But at the very least, USF show that, hey, you know what? There is such thing as having a little bit too much fun in Florida.
Yeah. I mean, that's fair. They've definitely been trying to push their luck just a little bit already, and then their luck ran out. Also, very ambitious for Blazer. That's one way to gather info, is fully commit yourself with a shrouded step. It's different. It's new. You just haven't seen it yet. Coming soon to the pros near you.
Coming soon to a Valorant game, competitive, uncompetitive, unrated Swift play near you, potentially.
Oh, I see those in Swift play all the time.
Rodan, please.
Those are for the enemies, not your teammates.
Those are for the enemy. Well, Rodan, he gets a piece of their own medicine there. Norm just sort of lurking at this point, and you can see them on this save round. They're just doing whatever they can. They got beat by the Force and cover going on, just sort of pushing forward, but everyone else has sort of turned tail left side. They see the enemies walking over towards that C site, so at the very least they have that information going for them. What they will do with that is completely left up to the cards once again. Pace going to be able to drop down that spike, and it seems as if someone got detected in that situation. Good Cloudflare actually to block that out, getting a little bit better positioning all the way into that front line is TKY. Once again, Wright is able to trade it out, but once again, be much dice here. The numbers advantage for Pace once again. We've seen that when they have numbers advantages, they're about 50% at converting. Granted, there was a lot of great individual performances on that, but Blaze with Bucky, this isn't, you know, episode 1, act 1 of Valorant. The Bucky is not a good guy, unfortunately, and Cynic, not even gonna let him fire off a shot.
He was nearsighted. He couldn't see and couldn't hear really. So the fact that he had the read there on the shot itself was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, Cynic been performing very admirably, by the way. One of only a couple players on the team that is actually not just even, but positive in a game where it's 11-4. That is no easy task, and you know, I know we meme. It's like, ha, got mine, but you know, Cynic has got his. To be fair,
he's been able to do quite well in some of these rounds to sort of find agency, I want to say, in those situations. Nonetheless, Pace, the Omen, already down to a sliver of health. Just got sort of shot down a bunch on the opening of that round. Now, of course, they've got to try and push forward.
I'm gonna drone short. Jet dashes forward.
Yeah, it TKY things, you know.
It was Norm. Norm was doing the
Oh, it was Norm. Yeah, it's Norm dash. You know what? They've got to find some. They've got to find some spark. Speaking of TKY, actually, it's down to Vengeance. And now Chimus just sitting in heaven. Okay, finds it. just guessed where they were going to be, and now USF saying, okay, this is enough games. We've had enough fun with our food at this point. Cytic, though, going to find their one once again. Finds their two, in fact, but Norm taking a lot. Cytic is going to try and find something. The Aftershock providing so much pressure. Rodan able to come around that corner. And USF on map point, they've done quite a good job at just converting on their leads whenever they have the opportunity to do so. I don't think they've had one or two full by gun rounds where they've just kind of struggled in that situation. Granted, they haven't had to save a whole lot this game either because they've just been rolling. You see those 7 rounds to open up them at 10-2 at the half, and just this train has no brakes.
The fact that Chumas is just random spraying, not even a default angle, that was off of multiple default spots.
Checking PC,
Just got the kill whilst running away, essentially. Oh, hi, Norm. Dashing straight in.
Yeah, looking for some more damage here. TKY, though, and Wright going to be able to convert. Zin takes out the other breach bro there. Now through the smoke once again. TKY is looking for the knife kill. Are you kidding me? That's the wrong knife. You're not supposed to be finding kills with that knife in that situation. And now it all comes down to Rodan once again, but it's a little bit of a cheeky flank here. Right into the face of Cytic goes that shot. And now Kiwi with a little bit under max HP here. Still possible to sort of clutch this one out. Gonna be challenging. Rodan has been known to throw the swarm grenades and splashes before. We'll see if that happens again. Kiwi, though, gonna hold the line there, able to spray him down. Pace, able to hold on for the time being, but still a massive mountain awaits them here.
Oh, man.
It'd be a relatively strong buy coming through from USF. They've got the credits for it. If they really wanted to end the game here, they would go for it. Seems as if they will take a little bit more of a cautious approach.
I need somebody to get me a meme template that is goes as such. TKY misses all 5 Bladestorm blades. Also TKY gets knife kill right afterward. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
it wasn't a backstab either. It was just, a knife to the face.
Exactly. That's the brilliance of it. I love it. So lots of space here. Is Rodan.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah, okay, now Kiwi the fun police is showing up to sort of shut everything down. TKY says, hey, where'd my friends go? So they've sort of got to turn tail and get out of there. Yeah, you get the one, you gotta keep your guns out, man. They just keep walking forward with their knives out sometimes, and hey, it worked for TKY. Seems as if Rodan is built a little bit differently in that situation. Nonetheless, Pace going to be rotating around at this point. USF still going to be just sitting on those shares, nothing too crazy. I believe Wright has a Vandal available for them, but Norm has a headshot available to them as well. Finds Chumas there with that shot. And now 4v2 situation. Wright has got to be the one to sort this one out. The only one with the rifle in this round, but this A site's going to be very challenging to deal with. And this time around, you can see Cytic says, hey, there's always someone flanking. Norm takes down Wright, and now all eyes are going to be on TKY.
Yeah, it's just kind of... Honestly, it doesn't even matter how many he gets here, because...
Oh.
What? Okay. Interesting decision.
Yeah. That's one of the ways you can look.
Yeah, I don't know what the thought process there was, but... clearly I missed something. Sure there was a reason. Just don't know it. 12-6. It is getting to that point where Pace, you could call this a little mini comeback. I do think that as soon as USF get a bit more serious about things, we'll probably see a bit of a different look. And I mean, look at this. Like, what kind of purchase is this? It's all over the place.
They went to the farmer's market. They said, give me one of everything. And
yeah.
Walked away. They've got some ultimates online as well, specifically that lockdown from the shadows available. The Omen ultimate, hit and miss in terms of how useful it can actually be, but TKY trying to dash forward gets taken down once again. Dash backwards, at least. They're trying to there for pushing up, and now all of a sudden, Pacers starting to sort of clean up their act a little bit. They might have caught them lacking a little bit there. Kiwi able to spray down Chumas through that smoke, and once again, a 5v2 situation. Right, gonna be trying to peek this one. Gonna be aware of Norm's positioning, and now Rodan had a 1v4 earlier, gonna have to 1v5 in this situation. Quite a tall order, to say the least, especially on that defender half where you know exactly where they're going to be filtering into. Rodan trying to find a little bit of an angle. Finds one. Norm going to be taken down. Now 1v4, it's manageable. They've done this before. Will they be able to do so in this situation? Rodan checking all these corners, looking for the free fires, running out of time. Zin going to be able to shut them down. Everyone gets their one on Pace. And USF, they'll tighten up eventually, surely.
Yeah, my gut is saying that they're doing some more trolling, and they've been doing some troll. Like that opening from TKY, that was just hard troll. Like, should never be in that spot. Gets his teammate killed on accident. I mean, it wasn't on purpose, but I think as soon as USF's just kind of batten down the hatches a little bit, this will be over. But if they keep being silly, they're gonna mess around and let Pace get a very close game. That then, you know, when you get serious again, you're like, oh wait, it's close.
Yeah, granted, Rodan is able to get their one here. It's going to be Revengeance trying to push forward onto the site with the Killjoy lockdown. At the very least, it is a trade early on, so the numbers are going to remain even. TKY holding this angle for a very long time. Oh, will get shut down by Siddiq once again, turning that corner. And as you mentioned, yes, while this map isn't going to... While we can still favor USF in the large part of these rounds, and just they need one at that point, it's just the momentum that shifts back towards the side of Pace. It was all in favor of USF for that attacker half, and now all of a sudden they start to play a couple too many games. They start to go for these sort of crazy buys. You get caught on a force, and now you start throwing a couple question marks up there saying, hey, are we sure about this? Granted, Bucky might be able to find one. Not going to be able to find it, but Blazer right able to trade back once again. Elite taking some guns out of the hands, forcing them to buy up. More so of an annoyance than anything. Siddiq finds their third kill of the round. As you mentioned, Siddiq's been doing a great job for Pace, at the very least bringing them a little bit more life on their side. Now here comes the full buy, finally, from the side of USF. They're finally able to coordinate the economies enough to get all these rifles down. And now this is where the questions get thrown out. Are they going to be able to secure it up? And you'd hope so at this point.
Yeah, I mean, this has been like 3 rounds coming. It really.
Yes.
So it is about time. I will say that Pace, I don't know if they've been saving these ultimates for a gun round or not, but they haven't necessarily used a lot of them. They did use a lockdown last round, but they've had a bunch of these for a while. I'd love to see them take a moment to try and utilize this. Information gathering from the shadows right there. Just confirming that nothing's up A long. That's going to allow a timing for the Jet just to push all the way up. It's a good usage of the from the shadows, but you mentioned cannot be easy. Oh my goodness, Zen, what a shot.
Yeah, Zen's just able to sort of turn the corner at the last second there, find that one for themselves. And while they were able to find the timing, TKY, it was still a little bit sketchy there. Rodan, though, going to throw down that turret, and surely the lockdown to follow afterwards. They hear the push going forward. That breach ultimate already used. No Sova ultimate, though, so this lockdown is going to be incredibly difficult to take down. Revengeance is going to find a human. Revengeance is just all the way at the back right, going to be able to sort that one out in this situation. Now the push forward, they want to find the timing, they want to find the angles to sort of secure up this round here. Here comes the aftershock as well, just going to force them out, but this is not planted for anyone. Where is this plant going? Blazers just sticking to the fuse, and finally USF are able to secure up this map. A couple too many for-fun rounds for them in the middle there, but hey, they get the map win at the end. They have a little bit of fun, a little bit of clip farming at the end to do so as well, but Pace, they started to get their feeling back a little bit more in that second half.
Yeah, and in all honesty, I don't think USF necessarily were deserving of the close there. They actually just were able to take advantage of what was a very rare Pace mistake in that second half, rather than did it together on their own terms. Granted, you know, props, they won the round. I'm being a little nitpicky for sure, but after the dominance that we saw from them in the first half, I think it's deserved. Like, we saw what they could do, and then we also saw what they were doing a little trolling with. So, you know what? You show me the good, I gotta show it when you give me the bad. That being said, USF, though, at the end of the day, it's going to be credited at 13-8. That was a very good showing, but on their map pick.
Yeah, and I think a major thing as well to consider in that regard is just that Pace coming to life a little bit more at the end. That's the major thing that I want to think about as we go into map 2. Of course, they're going to Ascent, they're going to Pace as a map pick here. If Pace are able to sort of continue that momentum on and push forward for themselves to get a little bit more in their comfort zone, I think USF are going to have to sort of tighten themselves back up, maybe even take a time out there early on to just say, hey, okay, guys, we had our fun. We were able to, have a couple of clip farms, do a little bit of trolling. Right. Let's recenter, let's refocus up, because we see what USF is able to do when given the tools to succeed, when they give themselves the pass to succeed in a lot of ways. But nonetheless, we do have to take a short break while these players take a little moment to recoup. Give us a little bit of time to recoup as well. And of course, give you some time to digest that game as a whole. Ascent coming up after this break.
ADCs are all together. Piao picked up a kill on the backside. Tabula Rasa's surviving forever. Eventually,
the Aztecs would go on to win game number 1, but something clicks in the Spartans, and San Jose would win the series 2-1. To Valorant with Andromeda taking on the University of Houston Scarlet team. Map number 2 on Fracture, and Andromeda wants to push A site, but Binko is sitting around the corner, and even with little to no utility, Binko just finds a way to make heads roll.
1-for-1 trade, make it 1-for-2 as Slorth takes down Altier, trying to trade for Orchid. Binko now trapped in a corner. They're shooting out the Prowlers, and there's not a lot of places that Binko can go, but now only Slorth being the one peeking. Oh, Binko! What was that?
Binko calls bingo on the ace, and it would be Houston who calls game on Fracture as they win the series 2-0.
To come through, it's just playing aimbot.
And that's it from Top Plays of the Week from Esports U. Thanks for watching, everybody, and until next time, this is Clutch Key signing off.
I can't say that. I'll get in trouble. There's one for each game, so teams this weekend, somebody's going to have to explain to TSA why they're coming home with an extra trophy. Fine. We're fine. This is going to be great. Why is everybody staring at me? I'm not even doing anything yet. Is it because I'm in a suit? It looks nice. It's new. I'm stressing. It's all right. We win these. We absolutely win these. I've never seen us lose these. I love him. I don't remember his name. What is going on, everybody? And oh, we're ready? I'll start over. Okay. What's going on, everybody? We are here at the Collegiate Esports Commissioners Cup 2022 in Atlanta, Georgia. The players are just now entering the arena for day one. A lot of them had the opportunity to be here yesterday to get jerseys, to get familiar with the area, and to get to know one another. But today, the friendly gloves have to come off, and they are all here. Earlier, I was talking to these guys. This mannequin, when they didn't have anything else set up, I could see it from all the way down there, and I thought it was a person. And I stood there for like 5 minutes, and I was like, why is he standing like that? And I thought it was like a smooth criminal. I thought somebody was giving us like a Michael Jackson impression, and then it was a mannequin. I was really embarrassed to admit that. Oh my God, that's a lot of people. Hold on, let's go over this window. Let's go over this window. It just keeps going. There's so many people outside. There are so many people outside. We're gonna interview people when they come in. I don't really want to go outside. It looks like it's gonna rain, and this suit is new. So, oh, there's Doc Haskell. Hi, Doc. How are you? He brings a full notebook with him and like writes notes down. It was pretty insane. He had it yesterday. He's gonna be coming through this metal detector right here. I don't know his name though, but I recognize his hair.
Jen.
You're Jen. All right, we're gonna interview Jen, who's supporting Kennesaw. I'm gonna ask you like a couple of very simple questions. Okay. Are we ready? All right, great. College. I really like Georgia College's color scheme. It's just red, white, and blue, I think, but I think they did it in a really clever way. Mineral area wearing hoodies, even though it is 75 degrees outside here in Atlanta, Georgia. Absolute legends.
If only Nick could hear you. Nick, come back.
If he's over 100 feet away, he can't.
You were whispering something, and he started smiling. I'm like, are you whispering?
Oh yeah, because he's got his headphone in if we're close enough. But
bless you.
Gesundheit. Gesundheit again. You're welcome. I'm gonna go find him. Oh, there he is. Oh my. Oh, okay. Real stuff is starting. Real stuff. Competitive integrity needs to be upheld. We gotta get out of here. Yeah, I don't want to get in trouble. I get really embarrassed when I get yelled at. 30 is okay. Wow, it's not 10:30 yet.
It's only barely 10.
Woo! All right, it's gonna be a long. Hey, what's up? Surprise interview. Join me over here. We have a cool backdrop. What are we here for?
Rocket League.
Awesome. I'm not going to ask what school you go to because unless you swapped hoodies, that seems pretty clear.
Nope. You know, I got my jersey on with my name on it.
Oh, you do? Show us your jersey. Look at John T. Turbo here.
Yeah,
that's not his name. I just keep calling him that.
Yeah.
His name is John, but
my name is John Turbesi.
Yeah, that's not John T. Turbo.
Yeah. I get the message that I'm going to Nebraska where I met you.
Oh, that's so crazy. So context, if we're probably not going to use this, but I want to talk about it. Turbo and I met at a LAN like over a year ago. That's so great. What is going on, everybody, and welcome back to the Collegiate Esports Commissioners Cup. I am Sebdolence, joined by a man I have interviewed probably well over 10 times. It's going to be my good friend Neb, here from Bay State Overwatch team. Neb looked at me before he started his last series, and he said, we are not dropping a map for the rest of the day. And so far, he has lived up to that title. But Neb, is there anybody you're thinking, we've got to get them out of the way, we've got to take them down?
No.
No? Just looking at it, each fight's its own, every game, going into it, just taking it as it comes?
I have the confidence right now that we're not going to drop a single map.
I love Neb because not only is he confident, but he's correct. Bay State is one of the best Overwatch teams I've ever seen. So it's always good to hear. I love the confidence.
And welcome back to the ECAC Valorant quarterfinals here. USF found themselves an interesting victory, I want to say, there in map 1, of course, over at Pace, who were able to get back into it a little bit closer to the end there. But, you know, it was an interesting showing overall. And I want to ask you, Vincent, we're going to Ascent. We're going to another one of these sort of classic maps. Pace, this is their map selection. What are we expecting out of USF, first and foremost? What are you expecting out of them in these early stages?
So it was so very clear to me that just this team, at least on Haven, and I assume it's going to be continued on Ascent, they're a team that is good because they can play aggressively, and a lot of teams don't know how to play against that. Understandably so. It's really tough to deal with. You need very specific protocols on the defense to deal with an offense that's so aggressive, so attack heavy, and I'm thinking we're going to continue to see that, and that is even more interesting because I don't know, but I'm going to assume that Pace probably elected, or rather, that they elected to start on the defense. Did USF? Yeah, they did. So they're going to have to defend first, and I say have to, like that's a bad thing. It is preferred, but it's going to be interesting considering all we saw was a little trolling on the USF defensive Haven.
Yeah, and I'm curious to see if Pace are able to continue that momentum, because we saw very good play coming through from ECAC. We saw very good team play overall in that second half. Granted, it just came at a couple rounds too late, it felt like. If they were able to sort of pick it up a little bit more at the kick end of their own defensive half, maybe there would have been some more light at the end of the tunnel for them. But of course, the light at the end of the tunnel for them here is this second map. Pace already got that comp locked in, and of course, as it is Ascent, we know exactly what we're getting 90% of the time. Unless there's a Sage thrown into the mix, that is not an Ascent agent.
Not at all. I mean, I think back, last time I saw this on Ascent, I think Steel was playing it on T1. That's the last time I saw it. At least that I remember. I'm sure I've seen it a couple times in between then and now, but that was like a year ago, like a year plus ago. So it's an interesting idea. I actually don't think that it's like the worst idea here. Like, it's not bad. It's just not the best is basically how I would put it. But we saw that, you know, USF, they weren't playing a meta comp on Haven either. I mentioned that, you know, going with the Fade isn't necessarily the norm anymore, but it was perfectly viable.
Yeah. It worked out to their favor in a sense, you know, just being able to use those prowlers, get that extra little bit of specific information. I want to say, you know, less lineup reliant as well on the Fade. But this time around with the Sage, there are some interesting walls. You know, if you've watched Grim will play Sage on any map, and there's some interesting walls that you can pull off. Maybe Rodin's just a big Grim fan. Shout out, of course, to the streaming community. Instead, though, it seems as if we're going to get the very boring wall in round 1, where you just wall off a main, and yet the wall is broken very early on. Rodin just going to be sort of hiding in this smoke now. Might be able to peek out, find one, find two! Cynic was watching the drone, too busy delivering Amazon, and now it's just the rest of Pace just crumbling down. USF showing, hey, you know what? Those last couple of rounds were just, they were a fluke.
Indeed. Yeah. Okay, wait, hold on a second. This has gotten legit just very quickly. He's boxed in, but look at the HP.
Yeah, Wright's going to have to be careful, and now his Revengeance trying to find those shots once again. Isn't able to find it. Chumis cleans it up.
That was terrifying for a moment, but fortunately USF going to be able to convert on what was a fantastic play from Rodan initially. Just dodged on the vision of the drone and made sure that not only getting that first kill with the right click, but ensuring that the Sova goes down as well. And that's important considering how well Siddiq was playing on map number 1. Nonetheless, dangerous, but still a victory for USF. That's the storyline for round number 1. Pace, hopefully they're going to show us a little bit more than that. A little bit more than like 1v5s.
Yeah. It was an interesting opener to say the least. I mean, Sova gets caught watching the drone camera there. A little bit unfortunate timing in terms of that peak, just to not just, hey, I'm getting shot at. Get me out of here. But nonetheless, good round as Norm sort of lurking through here. And of course, with them only with the classics, only with maybe a ghost picked up here and there, playing a little bit slower, playing as 5. They just want to make sure that they're finding a pick at the very least. Get one of these guns out of the hands. Force, you know, a sheriff purchase to combat the rest of the buy later. But Chunas with the Ares, looking to try and smack down through some walls.
I like the patience here. I think if you don't have much of anything to work with, okay, until you get found out by a very nice recon ball, the idea to be a bit more patient on a round like this, just to force out more utility as much as you can when you don't have a lot of the weaponry, isn't a bad strategy that Pace are going with here. But at this point, you sort of have to pick up this pace and go. 30 seconds left is all that remain.
Yeah, still just sort of lurking, trying to find a pick before they make any moves. At the very least, you want to try and get the spike down, or at least go down in these gunfights. And in a lot of ways, you know, there's potentially an opportunity to just not find the kills here, but Rodan, TKY, Chumas able to find one apiece there. And now the timing is on. TKY hopping through with the shorty, says, hey, hello to my little friend. It's going to be Chumas finding that last kill once again. 2 for USF on the board.
I was a little scary, actually, for Revengeance. Definitely want to go down. And it was actually very close.
Yeah.
Also, Revengeance is the only one with kills. I mean, it's only 2 rounds in, so doesn't matter, but an interesting sight to see at the very least. Gonna give some confidence to USF, I would imagine. One of the ways, though, that you can use this this Sage, I think, is that you can really delay some of these pushes if you want to, by using the wall later rather than early. Looks like we've seen mostly early walls thus far, and we're going to see another one over at B. But if you can get creative with those, save them for, like, host plants, for example, they are so powerful on the retake.
They can be so strong at just sort of delaying the inevitable. Is interestingly enough, Rodan went over their wall, and now are starting to creep up through mid. Interesting that you see Pace just so patient behind these smokes. They want to try and find a pick, but this one way is so difficult to deal with. Aldrone really going to be the only piece of utility they can use to push through. As they do so, now Aldrone starting to take the angle, looking for a gunfight. That's a Killjoy ultimate already down from Revengeance very early on. They're trying to find these kills as Kiwi takes down Chumas up in heaven, forces TKY all the way back, and now this site is all Paces for the taking.
Yeah, but they're going to have a quick flank RUSF, and that's the problem when you're so one-dimensional in your attack. But no, Rodan read like a book. Goodbye. 3 players remaining for this retake versus 5.
Yeah, going to be challenging, especially with TKY on a sliver of health there. Yasha not doing so hot either, right? Just trying to find anything. Siddiq going to be finding another one onto Blazer. 9 HP on TKY, the next to fall, and now right with the Spectre. Have a vicious challenge ahead of them. Not only the turret, but also Norm is able to take down Norm at the very least, but time is ticking. Right, trying to push forward with that shorty once again, but the alarm bot's right in front. There is so much you got to deal with here, right? Might just try and turn tail, die to the spike, if at all possible. Gonna try and chase down some kills on the way out as well. Right, will simply fall to the spike. That's picking up a first round win here.
And I want to do a little bit of a comparison game here for a moment. Looking back at Haven, and then now here on Ascent, a much different opening to this. Yeah, very dominant those first 2 rounds for USF. That was much the same, but Pace picking up the win against the bonus. That's not something they were able to do back on Haven, and as little, like as small of a difference as that may seem, it's actually huge. Not only just for the momentum, but also just for the economy. Making sure to have something going into these next rounds is so important.
And now with that operator, TKY staring down mid top. Smoke to try and block it off. Norm going to be removed from the equation as well. You can see Rodan there going Super Saiyan a little bit at the beginning of the round. Has that ultimate, so technically can make anything into a 6v5. Might be able to use that, but a great turnaround. They just walk right into the crosshair there. Rodan fights 2.
And I don't even know if Rodan's going to be interested in this res. Seems just interested in pushing the W key. Going to go back up mid. Continue this aggression. I don't know how Pace could read this. This should just be a standard fallback for USF. And this is what I meant when I said their aggression is unparalleled even on the defense. They're willing to push when they even probably should not. They've taken so much space.
Rodan going to turn that corner. There's one. Oh, misses a couple shots. Able to finally line them up there. Rodan just gave him a little bit of a warning. That's the round once again clutched out by the Sage.
I want to point out something that I noticed, though. right there. You saw TKY being very aggressive with the operator. That's normal. We've continued to see that. But it's not just aggression without without backup, right? They had a player down Cat, and there was both a fragment and a slow put into position at Tile in order to ensure that nobody could be swinging from that angle for that time being. Not only that, but had Rodan watching his back there too, just in case somebody wanted to aggress through that. Don't know why you'd go through a fragment, but if you did. So it's just all good backup plans in place for USF. Even when they seem like they're aggressing to a ridiculous degree, there's still a plan in place.
And of course, opening up that round right in Zin, the two KOs, finding their knockouts, trading back and forth. Chimus, though, with this Odin, has already crept up quite far. One major thing is that Sage res that we were talking about last round, now offline, so USF going to be having to take an even fight in terms of the numbers for the time being. Imagine
if you're down.
The nerve of the Sage to die, you know?
Especially with a res. TKY is like, I can't afford an op, so I'll just get a Marshall and do the same thing. It's fine.
Interesting to note, no one picked up the op as well. That's maybe just a little bit of a mental miscue moment there, but nonetheless, Siddiq and Co. just going to try and find the push onto this A site. Going to be quite challenging, though. Blazer sitting in a corner. There hasn't been a whole lot of this site cleared out. Another recon dart going to go through. Blazer going to be pulling a member in. There's one, there's two, and there's, a little bit of an overheat. Blazer going to trade two. Kiwi gets two in return now. The Omen. 2v1 situation, 30 seconds left, has to push towards this A site, it feels. And Chimus with this owl drone, going to be able to at least spot him out, just stalling time for as long as possible. Kiwi just really unable to find the answer here. Knows where at least one of those members are. That Odin is just going to prevent him from moving through. The buzzsaw may just be a little bit too much, as right finds Kiwi, USF find 4.
Yeah, just a little bit of a situation there for Pace where honestly, the aggression of USF is something that you just have to continue to deal with and expect at this point. You can't be giving ground up like they were in a main whenever you get pushed back in that scenario. Nonetheless, a timeout being called by Pace. And I think this is a good timing for it. You're down 4-1, and it hasn't been as dominant as on Haven, but it's been very dominant in general. But there's been a couple more close rounds. I mean, thinking back even to the pistol, where sure, the initial outcome was really bad, but you were able to claw back 3 kills. I mean, to be fair, Revengeance, the only one was left alive there, but still, it doesn't feel like they're getting out-aimed in the same way that they were in the first half of Haven. And that's actually a huge win.
Yeah, it puts a little bit more confidence back if you know that your shots are more likely to land in a lot of situations. And of course, for the side of Pace, they've got some decent ultimates available now. Once we get the scoreboard up, we'll be able to see how close the Sova is to that ultimate as well, the KO, because those are good initiation tools. Thank you, Observer. Reading our... It's perfect. Just being able to get that when you need it. 1 point away, 2 points away on that KO ultimate as well. So realistically, both of those could be coming online this round, potentially next round, if they opt to push forward for it. Yes, Pace. They need to just try and get those round ones on the board because, yes, their aim is a little bit better. Yes, they're starting to land their shots. It doesn't feel like they're just getting slaughtered anymore, but the scoreboard still reads 4-1, and USF are still looking like a very strong team overall. Rodan goes down.
Slowed himself off as well. That's one of those moments where, just like TKY in the last map, I do wonder about the reason behind that play. Regardless. Blades are both sides. We could see an anime battle.
Oh, we might just see that, but instead, under the guise of the smoke and mirrors, TKY just dashes out, finds one. Zin going to be able to... It's actually Kiwi able to return one back the opposite way. TKY has 1 HP, gets taken down by the turret, just like a balloon. They got popped. But fortunately, Revengeance with 20 HP, not going to be in much of a better situation, especially towards this B site. This Aldrin, incredibly late. Very good at sort of stalling out this round as well, but... for Revengeance, doesn't seem like they're going to have a whole lot of room to work with here. Unless they're able to find this angle. Chimus just crouches, drops a bullet into him. 10 HP! Hey, that's 9 more than you need.
That's a phantom moment right there. Vandal's dead, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I am kidding, of course. You could play whatever, but also, Vandal's dead.
Yeah. Vandal mixed. Who knows?
It's probably true as well, but, you know. this is my narrative, so step out. 5-1, the scoreline. USF continuing to look very good. And look at the economy. It is busted open this round. A little bit of half armors to work with at least. That'll give Pace something to work with the upgrades to the basics. But goodbye to Revengeance. It seems like aggression is the name of the game. Rodan doesn't understand, or does, but doesn't care, that you're supposed to res people with this character.
Yeah, has the res, hasn't opted to use it. Hasn't
been alive to use it.
Yeah, hasn't been alive to use it most of the time as well, but also has an operator. We've seen Sages opping before. It is somewhat rare, but hey, you get the one shot on a wall where they're not expecting the angle. Yeah, you get your one there. Yeah, Rodan is just having the time of their life thus far on this map. Playing this Sage, playing an incredibly off-meta agent on this map specifically, and just having a blast thus far. You know, top of the scoreboard, opping on Sage. All you can really ask for from your Sage apart from that is, you know, to res your teammates. But TKY, there's an option right there. Go ahead and res them. It's
true. I love as well that TKY doesn't have the op, has the Marshal, and is the Jet.
Hey,
there we go. We are going to see it. Yeah, good call. Rodan gets another one right afterward as well.
30 seconds left.
Able to trade back to TKY. Rodan finds a third one. Operator is good for 3 thus far, and now Kiwi, the only one left, might be falling into those crosshairs. Rodan. Crazy shots coming through from the Oppa 4K.
Well, things going a little bit better on the other side of the bracket, by the way. Pace Gold, the 2 team. This is the 1 team. They're up a map, up against Scarlet Tempest, which is pretty impressive. Love to see that. Of course, Pace Gold 1. I think I got it right.
Yeah, I think so as well.
Yeah, not having the same sort of situation. They're down the map here, unfortunately, against this USF squad that has certainly become one of my favorites very quickly in this bracket for ECAC quarterfinals. And this is the same situation again, but look at the adjustment for Pace. All the time that they've done this, they've been incredibly one-dimensional. They haven't left anyone at B, but they have this time. Unfortunately, no one's aggressing at B this time.
All the aggression goes towards A site. Right has to escape there. Zin gonna be able to find one on the way in, and look at that. Just the firing squad is lined up. The operator not in the correct position this time to find an early pick. And something that I like to point out is just the fact that operators are not good at retakes. They are not ideal, but TKY might be ideal to find one. Not going to be the case. Rodan going to be up on that wall. Goes down. Siddiq finds 3. And Pace able to find one back in return and pick up the op alongside it.
Good recovery on that op especially. I mean, we've seen Revengeance having that before. Zin will be picking it up. Another interesting operator choice. Operator wielder choice. That's how English works. I swear I speak for a living, supposedly. Attempt to, at the very least. Zen, though, you know what? I was going to mention something when you were talking about it last round, didn't get a chance. I don't think that you should put yourself into the box. You can op if you want to.
Yeah. Just if you so desire, if you think that you've got better aim and you can hit them, doesn't even need to be in the head, it needs to be in the body. You are good to go. TKY as a judge will not be able to land that down. It's 2 kills already picked up as Pace starting to pick it up earlier. This is what we wanted to see in map number 1. We wanted to see them find their vibes a little bit earlier. Juma's going to be able to find one with that Odin on the opposite side, but Norm swings around, and now Revengeance pulling a little bit of plays out of the USF textbook, hiding in a corner, finds 2, as Pace find a 3rd round, and all of a sudden, things are starting to look up for Pace.
Yeah, USF got to check your orders here, buds. You would think that they would be hyper-aware after what happened to the map 1, but nonetheless, easy to miss that one on Pizza, especially when you're retaking into, what, like 5 or 4 players? I think only 1 player went down, so yeah. Face a good round 2, in fact, and winning 1 round, then losing the next, that's one of the worst things that can happen to you in a game of Valorant, because you're essentially, you start to gather momentum, and then you're reset before you can do anything with it. Now, there's some real momentum here.
Starting to pick up the pace, pun intended, in terms of just finding rounds that work on their terms. Rodan, though, nice wall, nice kill. Rodan, no matter what, still is going to just have that crazy aim. Going to be up there. It's going to be Revengeance getting the revenge for their teammate. Chuma's going to look down at their homie, give him a little bit of a crouch, and say, after that, leave him be.
I will say this is where USF kind of get a bit of ahead of themselves. No reason to go for that repeat, but that's what happens when you have confidence.
Yeah, Zen had a little bit too much confidence there too, as Blazer finds two. It's going to be Revengeance, though, once again, avenging the teammates in this situation, but 63 HP and a Dream. Going to be able to find a third one at the very least. Won't find anyone with that lockdown. A couple members up through Garden, though. Who will peek first? It seems like it will be TKY. Right going to be the one to just peek properly, find the kill. It was a good peek from both of them. USF right the ship, get their 7th.
Good resurgence from USF, and I think that obviously huge credit to Rodan, who got that opening pick. Obviously, I think it's a fair criticism to say didn't need to go for that second one, but it's 13-8. That's what happens when you're 13-8. You just go for the second and the third and the fourth if you get the chance. So, Operator back in their hands as well. This is brilliant to see the consistency from, by the way, the in-game leader as well.
Yeah.
Simply ridiculous.
Yeah, always good to get that voice out there. Even better if that voice can be someone who's really good at hitting them in the head, wherever they need to. TKY, though, with an Odin, going to be taken down by Norm, but 11 HP to their name, not going to be in the best of situations. Granted, Rodan has more than enough damage in that gun that they're holding to potentially answer. Going to fire off a warning shot there. Spike will get planted, and we haven't seen a whole lot of plants on this half, Vincent.
They've been few and far between. This should be 3, though, for Norm.
Norm able to find another one. The pistol, though, the classic, going to be able to find it. A res coming through as well. So 4v4, but the timer is ticking. It's going to be challenging for them to try and retake that. It's going to be Vengeance once again taking out Ronan, finding another one with that Operator, finding a third one with the Operator. Not going to be able to find that last one. Chumas will clean it up. Can they get to the spike in time? Seems like they will have more than enough time as USF get their 8th.
They got so much time on this one. And, you know, that Cosmic Divide, it's a little bit of a rare one, but I actually like... You know how you often see the Cosmic Divide go, like, straight across back boathouse? Just sealing up those 2 angles? I like that it was slightly angled. I think that actually made it a little bit more comfortable for pace. Didn't quite know what was going on. They weren't sure how to approach it, and so they ended up taking those gunfights a little bit prematurely, and that allowed for USF to get the kills and find the victories. As Rodan bags another 3K, by the way, after the res. Simply sublime play with this Operator on the player that you don't typically see with it. I mean, you just really almost never see that out of the hands of the Jet.
Yeah, and if it's out of the hands of the Jet, it's on a chamber. Whenever you see that agent, if ever you see that agent.
What? Is that an agent?
Is that
they were dead?
Yeah, I forgot they existed from time to time, but nonetheless, so Ultimate gonna come down. This has found a really cheeky angle here. Right, gonna be able to pick one up as well. Another Phantom moment there, is able to correct the ship once again. Why hit 1 headshot when you can hit 2? Zen gonna be shut down as well. Great angle though from Cynic as they pick it up, and now 1v1 versus the Operator. Rodan is as smooth as ever. Call him the smooth Operator. That's a 9th round for USF as they go into the half with a lead once again.
Yeah, doing a very good impression of Carlos Sainz right there, for sure. One thing that I do appreciate as well in that round and the previous one is that both of the Hunter's Furies kind of going for what I like to call a fishing expedition. Don't really have a ton of info to play off of. Just kind of take a gamble and hope they're going to get something. It worked out great for USF. Not so much for pace, unfortunately, but got to respect it, you know? Not always going to work out, but you love to see the moxie, the willingness to go for those plays. Heading into the second half, it's not quite as bad as it was. It's 9-3, not 10-2.
You'd hope that they believe in curses at that point as well. And, you know, at the very least, they were able to find a little bit more on their opposite side. But of course, they were just trying to survive on the attack on Ascent. This time around, they are trying to defend on the opposite side as Rodan takes a lot of damage on the way in. Now just going to be left to pick up the pieces. Hiding in a corner. Hey, you know what? You can't.
Little lurking Larry?
Yeah, a little lurking Sage. You know, the sneaky Sage. That's what we'll call her in there.
That's better, you know. I tried. I gave it my best shot. It wasn't good. I'll concede. 4 players here to retake, and yeah, some HP, certainly a difference, but look at this flag, it's coming through.
TKY able to find one. Cynic actually able to light up a shock dart onto this one, but Rodan is behind enemy lines, and the Classic finds one. A little bit of an overheat on that gun. The spray gets a little bit too crazy, but Kiwi has 22 HP. Gonna get a headshot as well. In fact, Pace gonna be able to clean up that round. Great turnaround after they got caught napping by Rodan.
Yeah, unfortunately, Rodan's health was the difference maker. I think if Rodan not even had 100, just not like 12, it's probably different. Probably a double kill right there. Unfortunately, that's not the case. One of the other things to point out, though, in that round specifically, is that if you're going to be waiting on that lurk, you can't be getting aggressive on the site if you're USF. Like, there's no reason to be taking those fights. I understand that Siddiq got, like, a shock dart kill. Nothing you could do about that. It happens. But I forgot who it was, but somebody was taking a fight and died early before Rodan came around the corner. That's just one of those things you got to be a little bit more consistent with. You can't take that fight.
Yeah, and something you need to be careful of as well is forcing into Norm with the Bulldog. That's 2 kills already picked up. But hey, you know what? You force and you're getting punished for it once again, especially when you're forcing when you're 5 rounds up. Right, gonna be the last one left alive. 4 members glaring down through the smoke. It will have to be something quite substantial to get right out of this ugly situation. That lineup is not how you get out of it. And great round from Paces. They find Pistol, they find their anti-eco, and hey, they're gonna get an extra bonus round here because of the Force.
No way they're going for another Force.
Oh man.
I'm gonna be appalled, disgusted, and everything in between if they go for another one. This is what USF. This is what almost made them come back in the last map. Guys, please. They've done it. And they're gonna probably win this. Just mark my words. It's a bad decision, but if they get away with it, I take that responsibility.
Yeah, they're aiming right at the wall-based spot as well with plenty of sheriffs. The whole county showed up. Even the DAs showing their face as well. Oh my goodness, Rodan! That's a Grimwall right there, going right up on top of the box. If you can land your shots, might as well make it happen. Norm taking a lot of damage as well. There's going to be Revengeance finally taking down Rodan on top of the wall.
That's a beta wall right there.
You're trying to look for it. It is going to be Revengeance finding 4 kills in this situation. It's a 4K going with a name that we cannot say, so we'll have to call them Revengeance. Blazers nowhere close, though. They've taken their talents over to A site. We'll get the plant down at the very least, but hey, there is the chance for the ace. It's just going to be a little bit more delayed.
It will be. Blazer, we haven't seen the big hero play yet from them, so I'm here for it. I'd love to see this come to fruition. Seems unlikely with the player advantage, but look at where Blazer's at. Very aggressive in this Nebula. Able to find something for free. You need to get the one there.
Yeah, he got detected at the very least. QB gonna be potentially the bait. Exactly the case. And Revengeance will get the ace. Able to find it for themselves here. The Killjoy finding the killing spree. Pace gonna get to 6 here, making this a nice little score line. And now all of a sudden, USF, you know, they're getting a lot closer than they were able to get last map. This is where you start to question some of this in terms of their buying. And their full buying, granted. It is a full buy this time around.
Yeah, they do have the money. This is what I call, I'm stealing from Counter-Strike. This is what I call buying until you can full buy. Just force buy into oblivion. And, I mean, the spike plant helps as well. They did have a little bit of money left over, and the kills as well. There's a little bit, 2 players going down. That's what allows this buy to come through. It's a bit troll. But ultimately, they get to the same spot in just 1 less round.
Yeah, Revenge is actually dodging out of that KO knife as well, though, means that potentially can hold the line. TKY is walled in by their own team, but hey, if it works at that point. Siddiq with the Odin going to be taken down next. My goodness, Norm with that operator. Nice little flick to pick one up there. Once again, the old adage comes true. Retaking with the operator, not the easiest feat, is right. Might be in the right place, right time. Kiwi says, no, I was expecting you there.
Very nice shots indeed. This is going to make it a very reasonable retake, actually, for Pace. Of course, this Cosmic Divide makes life very much more difficult. Rodan's in a perfect spot.
Might have gone undetected for the time being. Rodan finds 2, and it's only the operator left from Norm. Actually, Norm switched to a Phantom. Cosmic Divide not quite going to provide enough cover. 1v2 situation, though. Time is ticking, and Norm's going to have to find this quick. Going to have to make it efficient. Chumis is sitting in the smoke. Chumis will spray him down, and USF get their round back. 10-6 for University of Southern Florida.
I want it to be known that Rodan went for the knife there.
Yes.
Through the Cosmic Divide. Just because, for funsies, I was enjoying it. USF, on the other hand, so that round, I think, is pretty much the issue type of round when you get the guns back out. You just make sure, especially when they've been able to ascertain through number one, the pistol, and when they went mid, initially were looking mid to B. And then also, I think in the second round, they kind of poked and prodded there as well. That's just noticing what's happening and finding an opening.
Yeah, Norm finds the opening of note in the Jet Ditto. And Rodan's going to say, hey, listen, that opening you got? No. That didn't happen. Reverse time. Go back into the Matrix. So you're going to take a little bit more damage on the way through. Norm peeking a different angle, though, with that operator. Did take some damage. Needs to be careful with exactly where they're peeking is right. Looking to try and find a little bit of an angle here. Revengeance spots it out, but that Stinger, hey, it still does a decent amount of damage from that distance.
I didn't realize that TKY doesn't lose the blades there, actually.
Interesting. There's some ults that you keep, there's some that you don't, and I think Jet might be one of those ones you keep.
I mean, clearly is. I just saw it.
Yeah, TK take their second death of the round. You know, it felt so good the first time you had to do it again. Granted, Revengeance now with the classic. Gonna be in the best of situations, trying to right-click through right here. It's gonna be Siddiq, though, peeking around the opposite corner here, having the reload. Blazer finds a 4K now. And hold the door. All of a sudden here, might be another comeback. These are going to be pulling in Norm. Going to be trying to remove that play. 24 HP, but has those jet knives. You just need to land it in the head. Lands a bunch of the legs there. Blazer finds an ace for themselves. 2 aces over the course of 3 rounds. What is going on, Vincent?
Dude, nobody could shoot at Blazer. Blazer killed 3 players who didn't have any bullets in their guns. I'm just saying. Like, everybody shot at everyone else, and then Blazer was like, don't worry, you have no bullets, you cannot kill me, I am unstoppable. And he was. Just easy ace. Love to see that. I mean, that's what you want from your Astra player, just consistently there, ready to apply the utility, and, of course, get the trade frags if needed. Big victory. 11th round there for USF, and remember, this is quarterfinals series on the line. A loss here for Pace is goodbye for the season.
Of course, USF are now starting to tighten their attack up once again. It feels as if maybe the first couple of rounds were them still just having a little bit too much fun with it. Granted, Rodan on that wall once again is taken down by Revengeance now, who has a Vandal in tow. Siddiq, though, might have been caught out with that Owl Drone again. Pulled it back earlier. But now it all comes down to the lockdown. Actually, Chuma's going to be able to shut that down as well as the Killjoy. Kiwi, though, last member left standing with the Spectre. That range nerf a while ago is going to bite them there as USF get to series point.
Match point.
That's just one of those moments where the speed at which USF are playing on the offense. They haven't done that a lot, actually, this half, now that I think about it. But that's back to Haven type of speed, you know, where they're just running it into the side. Final round could be of the game, but the gun round, at the very least, for Pace, it's going to mean they have a chance in this one. It's not perfect, but they're there or thereabouts. They've got a lot of ultimates to work with. The key one for me, that null command, as well as the Hunter Fury.
Of course, a key member we need to keep our eyes on as well is TKY, who was already deep on the site. Kiwi almost caught with their pants down there, teleporting back up with this Cosmic Divide. Gonna act as a quasi door for the time being until it is closed up. And this A site completely controlled by the side of USF. Pace gonna have to try and find some way back onto the site. But with 5 members, that's a lot more feasible than other times. You've got the From the Shadows to reposition if necessary. Null command is going to be popped as well. No ability is going to be coming down, but the floor is lava. There are bullets just being pelted through, but it is Revengeance. Norm Siddiq picking up a couple. Jumis now going to be the next one chopping block here, and hiding in the corner is TKY. TKY cannot hide for long. Pace finds 7.
That's great awareness from Kiwi. Just ensuring to double check that angle. You know, it's so easy when you've already killed a player hell, just to walk away from it, thinking, yeah, we killed the guy hell. Well, no. You gotta always check that second angle. It happens all the time where there's just a second player there, trying to play the timing, trying to get a little sneaky with it, and Pace bailed out by Kiwi's awareness. USF, they still have 12, don't worry, they're in position, but Key is now going to be picking up that 13th round. That was a bit of a tough task, pain point, if you will, for them in that first game.
Yeah, quite a tall order. It took them from 12-3, I believe it was, to 12-8 before they were able to sort of tighten up on that defensive side. Of course, this time, and we talked about this as well, they look more confident on the attacking side. Granted, once again, it just seems as if their first half just works out better than their second half. Kiwi, though, going to be able to find one, will get shut down by Blazer, but Rodan not going to be healing up a whole lot there with the Sage self-heal. Only 30 HP going to be going back in there. Norm finds a kill on the TKY. Norm finds a kill on the right. Blazer going to be able to trade it back as well. Zin gets taken down as Blazer picked up a Vandal. Now, all of a sudden, this round gets a little bit more interesting. It is going to be Revengeance finding another one, and now Blazer has to worry about two separate angles. Jumping forward here, Blazer gets shut down by Revengeance, and Pace matched their total from last map. This time around, though, feels as if USF might just try and close the door a little quicker.
Yeah, I also mentioned, though, that I'm a little confused why we didn't see a spike back. A little extra cash, don't hurt nobody. I think, not that it was a necessity, but would have been nice to see. Nonetheless, a little... Listen, I'm doing the thing where I nitpick for no reason because it's fun, alright? That's what I'm here for. Just a bit of trolling. I'm basically a USF member at this point.
Of course, though. Another thing that might be a little bit trolls is dueling Odins on a B site. They do not match with the lasers there. Rodan already pushing forward aggressively. Shot that upper wall a little bit there, so it might have created a hole. But now the null command's going to come down. They're going to try and push through to end this. Seems like the answer is through Garden onto A. TKY gets sprayed down through the smoke, though that's not a good look for the side of USF. Lose one of those key ultimates, and now in a 4v5 situation, Pace. We saw their retake on A site last time. It was fantastic.
Spike planted.
That it was, yeah. I mean, and they've got a man advantage into this and a Blade Storm to work with. Cosmic Divide is up. USF, oh, great timing as well. That's going to lock them out of the site as soon as Kiwi goes down.
Challenging for them to get back into it, but Revengeance going to be coming around on a little flank a la Rodan, one could say. Said it going to be able to find Chumis as well. It's just the shots coming down. It seems as if they are left undetected on this flank for so long. Blazer takes down one. Blazer still alive underneath here, staying alive forever, finally through the wall. Revengeance will find it, and Pace find another round, forcing USF onto another save, and this is where things get a little testy, Vincent.
Yeah, I'm starting to get that little, you know, the feeling that you get, like, right in the pit of your stomach, like, uh-oh. This might not be over. We might be seeing overtime. Pace, they're looking very good, and you mentioned it there, right ahead of the retake. Their retakes have been on point. Look at, defensively, these rounds. Out of the 6 rounds that Pace have won this half, well, 4 of them have been retakes with a spike diffuser. Like, that's not... I mean, that's not a situation that you see all the time. Especially not on a map like Ascent. It feels like, oftentimes, your retakes on Ascent, I mean, you do live or die by them, but getting that consistency, 4 out of 6, is impressive.
Quite good at that. And now it just comes down to if... Okay, TKY making me eat my words instantly with a nice little shot. There goes over the top, and now Kiwi left in the washing machine there, left to spin around. USF decide to just refute all of our points in the last 20 seconds and say, hey, let's just push on the site here. Granted, under lockdown will be put down. Cynic with the Odin is going to defend it with their life. Quick peek coming around from the side of Revengeance, but Cynic, Norm, everyone's getting involved with this one. Chumis going to be the last member left, and of course, they've got the lineups, they've got the potential to stall this one out. Nice little shock dart, going to potentially find one. Kiwi gets taken down with that Phantom, but this Odin is going to be so difficult to deal with unless Chumis is able to find the head. And now in a 1v1, time is on USF's side here. The longer that Pace take to just stick the plant, the better chance it is for Chumis. Just stalling. How long can you stall? Not enough. Will it be time for the spike?
Ah, it's close. Oh no! Oh! Less than 0.2 of a second, and that's the end of the game. Not only that, the end of the season. For Pace, we say goodbye because USF, they have the victory. Oh goodness, that is simply incredible stuff. And you gotta give props to the 1v3 clutch there at the very end. Had my heart pounding. I know yours too. Just cutting it so close as well.
Sometimes it's one of those moments where we just don't say anything. We like, dude, we don't know. We have no clue whether that spike is going to get defused or not. And yes, 0.14 seconds left there. My goodness, the slimmest of margins that could keep pace alive are not going to be enough. But congratulations to USF for winning in their quarterfinal. They'll be moving on to the semis, and unfortunately, it means we say bye to Pace Gold 1, while Pace Gold 2 are doing quite good in their series right now. Number 1 team, unfortunately, will be going down. And honestly, we got to see a really good look out of them despite their first halves. It was one of those things. It's the football player. You know, they had us in the first half, not going to lie.
That's true. And, I mean, props to Vangeance, who also 27 frags on that second map. Did pretty well in the first. I think was second just to Acidic. Good performance. Like, if we just were to pick out an individual who was performing well. But Rodan, I think very clearly taking the cake there. That performance on Sage, so much fun to watch. And as we mentioned, not the norm, but I think that also made it more enjoyable tonight, just because we got to see something we don't get to see all the time. And of course, big props to TKY as well. Didn't have quite the highest of impact in that second map comparatively, but on the entry was consistent across both maps.
Yeah, definitely an interesting series overall, and I think that there's definitely strengths that we saw out of USF. Their attacking side is very aggressive. It just seems as if sometimes they let their emotions get the better of them, and that works on both sides. You know, when you start to fall behind, sometimes you just get tilted and you get slapped 13-1 or 13-2. But when you're ahead as well, if you have a little bit too much fun and you give that room for teams like Pace to get back into the game, what's to say that a team that doesn't Pace could do the same thing? So that is sort of the questions that we leave at USF with. Of course, we will have a chance to speak to one of the USF players as well. We're going to try and set ourselves up an interview, but for now, we will take a short break. Once again, congratulations to USF for moving on to semifinals. We'll be right back with that interview.
Great job this weekend. So what qualifier, did you win a qualifier to get here?
At-large bid.
We're looking at Rocket League, we're thinking high odds, low odds, where do we think we're walking away?
I think pretty high. I think we're doing pretty good.
Is there anybody that you're looking at, you're like, please do not let us go up against them unless we absolutely have to?
I mean, really, everybody's good competition, so.
And sorry, what was your name?
Ethan.
Ethan from Mineral area.
Yep.
Very exciting. Well, Ethan, good luck.
Thank you.
We'll see you soon. What kind of pass? A player pass? No, you actually have to like tape it to your chest, like really awkwardly with masking tape. Okay. And it's gonna fall off. Yeah. It's gonna be uncomfortable, I promise. That's a guarantee. Okay, cut that, I'm gonna sneeze. Okay, great. I'm great, everything's good.
Who do we interview? Who should we interview?
I don't know, I'm just here. I need caffeine.
What is going on, everybody, and welcome to the ECAC Top Plays of the Week. I am Septilance, and I'm super excited to walk through these with you so you can see all of the great moments we are getting out of collegiate esports. One of my favorite things about these seasons is as they go on, as the years continue to pass, the skill ceiling just gets higher and higher, and the teams get better and better. Starting things off in Week 1 and 2, these teams came out the gate swinging. Let's take a look at what they were ready to bring out in these early weeks. Valorant is a game all about risk versus reward, and Sin from NYIT wanted to show us just how much he was willing to risk to get that great reward of a round win.
Sort of forced to pop off, maybe get a little bit more sniper play, but these direct angles make it tough. You have Axeris that actually gets a wallbang headshot onto Prime. Oh, that timing on the paranoia works so well.
Yo, give it up for the util, bro. Sin's gonna pick up 3 into the site. Work on a chamber, but unless you're gonna spam through this box, you're not getting anything done, and Panda won't even let him get that far.
Super Smash Bros. Ultimate is a game that can be decided in milliseconds, and Waka, one of the best players from SUNY Canton A Squad, wanted to show us just what they can do with only a second and a single stock on the board.
Cena, Sledge option gonna be charging forward smash, going a little early. They're not quite getting what you want. Drop shield after first hit, and Pin getting hit by the kick. High percent. There is the stun into Claw. That Claw could have been charged for a lot longer. Oh my goodness, that's a forwarder into stage with the stage spike and then upping immediately after. What a sick.
1 point in Rocket League can never make a team feel comfortable, but Driftsy wanted to show us that not only was he going to pick the pace up, he wasn't going to let his team down.
Defensive test with flying colors, though they couldn't get out, and that is the important part. at the moment. Clears a must for UA, and it's just not in the cards at the moment.
Dripsy! Dripsy connects off the backboard! What a shot! I watched it unfold slowly. You stopped speaking at just the right moment.
Valorant is often called a team-based shooter, but sometimes it can't just be about the team. Sometimes you gotta have those hero plays. Spec wanted to spray and pray and was actually able to save the day for SVSU, tying up the series 7-7.
Hard B push here, 2 Omens folks coming out. 1, oh, Spec
Oh
just
my
finds 3.
What?
Spraying through the smoke. Oh, one Spec, that's not legal, man. That's not legal. This is match day 2 of the ECAC League. You can't be doing that right now. Spec just goes with the call.
Here in this clip, Fanshawe finds themselves with their backs against the wall, 20 seconds left on the clock, and they're desperate to take down Wake Forest. They don't have anything to get through this team, they don't have any weapons on the field, but with Jackie Moon in the wings, at least they had a sniper.
Apparently. Guys gonna believe all the shots. Oh, a sniper! Jackie Moon from about midway through. What a shot right here from Jackie.
Wow, good eye sniper. Yes, sir. Jackie Moon puts us on the right side. A little bit more to the left. This one would have been...
Here in this clip, we're going to get a great moment from a Pac-Man, and as a Pac-Man player, I was super excited to see it. We're going to hear a lot of praise from our commentators giving Mosey those compliments of choosing Snake against Pac-Man, a great counter pick. They were super excited to see a Snake on the field, but even without their blessing, Trollery does not yield.
Approach, but like you said, he's trying to play this safe because losing a stock right now for Concord would be really bad. And, well, a little bit of commentators there. We kind of willed that one into existence. Oh, man. Oh, goodness! What?
Now I know what you're thinking. Oh, Septilence, how could that be all we got from weeks number 1 and 2? Please tell me there's more. If you like what you saw, you've got to go check out ECAC Esports on all social media platforms. Please see what they're bringing to the table. It is great collegiate esports week after week. And on the bright side, folks, this is just the beginning. We've got the whole rest of what is guaranteed to be a great season ahead of us. Thank you so much for joining me for this recap, and I'll see you on the next one.
Never break, always fight, never quit, do it right, play the game, win it life, have no shame, there's no time, feel the pain, live the grind, I could change, in my mind, pick a lane, commit and climb, the only way to win it life, I never miss that fact, taking big
is that we don't have these preconceived notions, and we're willing to listen to our membership and read the room, read college athletics and how it's connected and how it's not, and take what we have expertise in championships, but also throw out some of the other stuff. I remember when we first started, there were some conferences were applying their amateurism rules to all of their esports competitors, and I think we knew enough to know that no, that's not going to work in an esports culture. It's got to be very, very different. And but it was going in a different direction. You could see the train had already left the station on that, and so it's an incredibly dynamic area and ever changing, and will continue to change. And just as we didn't know when we started what it's going to be looking like, I think similarly we still don't know what it's going to be in another 5 years. I know enough to know that all of us are still going to have a thriving esports program that's doing a real good service for our members and for our competitors. But we still don't know necessarily what some of that is going to look like, and that's pretty cool about it all. Let me ask you this, because you all are used to dealing with your athletic directors, and each of them are dealing with what's in front of them in their athletic department. My guess is at least some of your schools are that this is not necessarily operating within the athletic department. And can you talk about how you navigate that in a conference office And you know, maybe the best way to handle that, or do you have preferences? Do you try to steer them one way or the other? And just talk a little bit about that if you don't mind.
Sure. The majority of our schools are not under the athletics umbrella. We have one institution that perhaps by next year will be under the auspices of athletics, but most of them are in other departments across campus.
Right.
One of the things that has us is that we have support from the president's office. And so in order to participate in Mountain West events, you have to have an adult non-student administrator that oversees that, you know, the esport program. And that's where we get assistance with, you know, eligibility checks and, you know, please complete your roster, things like that. I don't know in the future, and it depends on, you know, who's sitting in the athletics director's chairs, whether or not more esport teams will go under the umbrella of athletics. And I'm kind of indifferent in terms of whether it should, because I don't want esports to go down the road that some conventional sports have gone down with the NCAA. So we have a unique opportunity to kind of craft esports in a way that fits what esports is, as opposed to trying to fit it into a conventional athletics box, so to speak.
Right.
You know, I think the success of our program and getting participation is exactly that. The fact that we're not tying it in necessarily to athletics and NCAA eligibility. Like Carolyn, we probably have 3 or 4 schools that are under athletics. And I know it puts them in a difficult position sometimes trying to make some decisions. I got a request recently to consider allowing part-time students to participate during this year, because some schools struggle sometimes to fill out all the games that they want to play with us. And we held off on that for now. You know, we defer to the institution and say, what's your policy for those that are under student development or activities? What's your policy for allowing students to participate? And if you certify that they're eligible under your current policies, then that's good for us. I also think, and I was part of some of the conversations early on with the NCAA years ago about the NCAA getting involved as a Division II representative, and I was crossing my fingers that wouldn't happen, just because I think this needs time to grow, you know, and expand.
Can I ask Bob a question, because you mentioned part-time enrollment, and one of the things that we've done here is that as a conference, we've just set eligibility standards, full-time enrollment, making progress towards your degree as the institution defines it. Are you guys doing like that as well? Because we've gotten that part-time enrollment question, and we've said.
And welcome back, everyone. Sorry for the delay there. Unfortunately, we weren't able to get an interview with one of the players from USF, but we just get a little bit more time just to sort of digest that game a little bit, digest that series as a whole. Of course, we're Adam and Vincent back again here. And honestly, Vincent, just any sort of last thoughts about that series as a whole before we start to wrap things up?
You know, I think that for me, the conversation point continued to be just that USF played the game they wanted to play, and you got to put a lot of respect on that, right? We talked consistently, both maps actually, about how they were playing a comp that you don't necessarily see. It was mostly what you would expect with a little wrinkle thrown into it. And, you know, I think that not only is that very effective in the collegiate space, but it's also just takes confidence. And that's really what USF was showing us throughout. I was very impressed with them, to be entirely honest.
Yeah, they did just show a lot of skill. They showed good macro. Showed a lot of good micro as well, I want to say. Just their aim was very good. And a lot of the times it just felt as if they were able to out-aim Pace in those situations. But of course, at the end of the day, we can also look at the positives for Pace, albeit they are eliminated. But overall, they still had very good comebacks, and they did have a lot going for them as well. Any last thoughts on that as well, Vincent?
Yeah, a good season for Pace. Unfortunately, it ends here, just like... Unfortunately, we're just about ready to end. Gonna Send you a quick reminder, though. Things continue on Esports U2, specifically ECAC Rocket League playoffs going on, Overwatch as well. Got some amazing games ready to go, along with some fantastic talent to bring you through it. Not only that, coming up here very soon is CECC Finals. Madness headed to Texas. The finals will be happening at Esports Stadium Arlington, which is a fantastic venue. If you're not going, you're missing out. That's on May 6th and 7th. You can't be there in person. Don't worry, though. It's all going to be live here on Esports U. More information? Just need to head over to collegiatesmg.com. That's collegiatesmg.com to find out more. Make sure you're getting involved there to the maximum. Adam, though, it is that time where we have to say goodbye. Thanks so much, everybody, for watching. We'll see you next time here at Esports U. Peace out. Have a good night.
We're at the Collegiate Esports Commissioners Cup. Let's make some noise.
Oh, and it's gonna
jumped into it. Corner judge is good for 1, 2, damn. He needs more. And
they're doing even more here. You gotta touch the point. Mr. Collins walks it in. Toy Boy is gonna drop.
Knife him.
Right out in front. Yeah, 3, 2, 1, running.
Never break, always fight, never quit, do it right, play the game, win it life, have no shame, there's no time, feel the pain, live the grind, I could change, in my mind, pick a lane, commit and climb, the only way to win it life, I never miss that fact, taking big steps.
That's so cute. UCF, and it's really cute. So I'm gonna move down here. How do we feel? The odds for UCF? What are we thinking?
They got it.
No, we got this. We got it. We got it. Go Knights. Charge on.
100%. My friend Nick is behind you. He's gonna record it. Don't look at him. You'll ruin the shot. Don't look at him. Don't look at him.
Come on.
Oh,
let's go! Let's go!
My smile's probably really creepy. I was just being weird.
Oh, I love being in the shadows, though. Big shout out to the shadows.
We could interview Dilly just because I think he's handsome. You weren't supposed to hear it.
Here's the thing about the event. I'm the greatest that's ever lived.
Literally true. I know him.
I think everyone knows that. I think everyone's aware of that.
Hey, do you have a VIP access badge on?
I actually have an all access.
Oh, an all access. I thought it said VIP access.
And that's only available for the best.
That's true. He's right. That's a main stage TO right there.
If this goes live, I'm suing everybody.
It's all right. A video of me, the first clip is me saying, don't put that in. And then it was the first, cut the cameras. Oh, you're recording already? Great. So this is this is Bay State versus UCF. I believe something that we saw yesterday on day 1 of the tournament, but instead we're going to have that run back here. I think they're fighting for a spot grand finals. Anarchy, one of the best Greninja players in the United States, currently struggling against a Terry. Terry notorious for that DLC privilege, being a very strong character with some very strong abilities. Greninja, not so much, considered one of the weaker characters in the game. A Falco player, one of the best in the United States, and he just got spiked by a Terry. Same Terry that took out Anarchy literally minutes ago. UCF still up by 2 stocks. This guy is looking to rip this team apart single-handedly. That is, I mean, nuts, to say the very least. Absolutely absurd. That was a disgusting spike. I cannot believe that happened. Will you hold the microphone so I can sign this? Sorry.
For context, he's got a fan. He's actually signing something. He's so excited.
What was it like to not hear my voice for 2 minutes? For 30 seconds, maybe. What was it like? Probably bliss. I was signing a mouse pad, which is really cool. I've never done that before. Nobody's ever asked me for a signature, so I'm going to start blushing, but I'm really excited about that. And then he wants a picture. Can you take a picture of us?
I said, is it bad? She went,
No.
I'm gonna go ahead and take that as a yes.
Turns out I can't tie a tie sitting down.
What do you think is the appropriate face to screen ratio for a Valorant player?
Face to screen, like how close I sit?
Yeah, like how close should a player sit?
Personally, I play really, really close. I think it depends on your eyesight, but for me, I like playing close because it helps me focus on my crosshair.
Is the value of sitting close, the crosshair being the only thing in your line of sight?
Yeah, that's pretty much the main benefit of it.
It's so funny how close some of these guys sit. Oh my goodness. What do you think is the healthy face to screen distance for a Valorant player?
I think it's all kind of personal preference. I guess I would consider myself like pretty close when I play because I like to like zone in on my crosshair.
It is the second person to say that. It's all about the crosshair. And then what's up with the horizontal keyboard?
I don't know, like it just kind of fits like the form when I'm close to monitor. Like I don't know, it might sound cringy, but I like to like be gun, you know?
No, bro, I feel it. I feel it absolutely. What is going on, everybody? I am here with some UCF fans. How are we feeling about UCF? Let's go! Let's go! We've got a bunch of UCF fans in the crowd right now. UCF, they are up by a single game. They're looking to find their third and possibly final, secure a spot moving forward. Things look